I have spent the past couple weeks investigating every bit of lore and official media I could find to try and predict what's coming next in Infinity Nikki, and I think I've got it. After all my research, there is something that really stood out to me. At the moment, there isn't anything stopping the devs from releasing several regions from different nations at the same time. Nothing in the lore makes me think that they will release one region per year, like Genshin Impact, for example. I believe it's very possible we will get a mix of different regions, which everyone would benefit from, because this way we could have easy access to different unique outfit styles, exploration mechanics, and making it fun and engaging throughout the years. If you clicked on this video just to see a timeline of what could our future's updates look like, here's what I personally think will happen. First, we will get our house and island in update 1.3 or 1.4. We will then probably get small areas that have already been developed, the expansion of the Queen's Castle and the Mushroom Forest. Then we'll probably get a big region of Heartcraft, Cicia being the best candidate. After that, we'll be very well in our second year of Infinity Nikki. This could be the perfect timing to release the region of a new nation, probably Linlang or Empire of Light. We will most probably follow the conflict between Light, Umbrazo, and Heartcraft, so we could very well get a mix of regions from these three nations where we go back and forth to solve conflict with Nikki. Then we'll probably bring the nations together and be introduced to a bigger enemy, thus venturing out to Starhail Federation, Terra, and possibly even Twinmoon. Lastly, I think we'll get some regions of the space station towards the end of the main storyline. You may have noticed that this is the exact same order that Dada tells us about the regions as well. Also, as a disclaimer, I may be wrong of course, but it will be really fun to compare how right or how completely off I was in future years. Now, let me give you some context on why I think this way. In Miraland, we have 7 great nations, and each nation has a predominant theme for its outfits and aesthetic. Right now, we are in the small region of Wishfield, which belongs to the Heartcraft Kingdom. The Heartcraft Kingdom's theme is fairy tales, and that is very apparent on the banners that we are getting at the moment. They're mostly cute and puffy, spring-ish dresses, but if you're getting bored of them, do not worry, because the other nations are completely different. Let's get into detail on each of these nations one by one. At Heartcraft Kingdom, we have several regions that have already been mentioned. Wishfield, where we are currently, Cicia, and Wintermont. It is mentioned that between Wishfield and the capital, there is a vast uninhabited forest. I think we'll get one more area in Wishfield before moving on to Cicia. The reason is because we are still missing one area from Dada's outro at the end of the first chapter. Here you can see the Memorial Ruins, Florawish, Crazy Meadows, Stoneville, Abandoned District, Wishing Woods, Firework Isles, and this mysterious mushroom little guy. So I believe this mushroom forest will be here, and probably the last area of Wishfield before we move on to bigger regions. If we look at Nikki's debut trailer, you will notice a forest and some areas that we haven't seen in the game yet, which I think is what we are going to get in the next few patches. Also on this trailer, we have a sneak peek of what could be the Queen's Castle dungeon. In case you didn't know, the castle ruins belong to a queen called Philomea. We can see paintings of her in the Church of Observers. As you can see here, she has a dark hair, crown, and dress, and in both pictures she is accompanied by a cute teddy bear with a bow. Also, if you approach our little bear PC friends at the Swan Gazebo, you will hear her sing. And not only that, but if you talk to her afterwards, she will say this was the queen's favorite song. You may be thinking, wow, this could be any queen ever, not necessarily this queen, but Queen Philomea very obviously loved music, and you can find teddy bears with a faded pink wall and pink windows in her room. If we compare these to the ones shown in the debut trailer, I think we are safe to assume that this will be some sort of Queen's Castle dungeon, similar to Timmy's Lab or Dream Warehouse, for example. But all in all, I don't think it will necessarily bring a new area like the Mushroom Forest, because it could be just the Queen's Dungeon and a more in-depth story quest of her past. So for bigger areas, I believe Cicia will be a great start, since we already have Aka's story quest, which was left incomplete. Not to mention, we also have the Cicia Academy field base, which suggests a bigger Cicia Academy is elsewhere. Next, we'll probably see a little of the Linlang Empire, which is north of Wishfield. The nation's theme is mystical and heroic, and will most certainly bring Eastern Asian outfit styles with some modern elements like in previous Nikki games. We already have characters from Linlang Empire, such as Tanyoyo, Tuyubai, and basically every NPC from the current Bloom Festival. We also already have outfit sets in the Linlang style, such as the Scarlet Dreams, Michi Hidden Set, Endless Longing, and New Year's Dawn. Many of these has some bits of lore about the Linlang Empire. It is said in the game that they are a delicate nation that loves tea and has a beautiful firework festival during New Year's. We can expect Asian architecture and beautiful outfits inspired in Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and other East Asian countries. Interestingly enough, this is the only nation to have a winter-style clothing at the moment, and also has a snow in the official art so far. So the north will probably be a cold region in general, with some nice snow winter outfits. To the southwest of Wishfield, we have the Empire of Light, which is known to be a warmongering nation trying to conquer the world, founded by wizards and knights. We don't actually have any clothing pro Empire of Light at the moment, but it should be similar to the ones present in previous games, which will most definitely bring some interesting outfits that can range from shiny armors to medieval cloaks to military uniforms. We'll probably get the region of Umbrazo first, because that's where the conflict is happening, and I believe Wintermont may border these areas. Although Wintermont is part of the Heartcraft Kingdom, in previous games it looked very Greek-style, tropical, with a lot of coastal areas. And I believe that in this game, the Empire of Light will be like that too, and not a winter cold zone like in previous games. This is because in Dada's explanation, the Empire doesn't look cold and doesn't have any snow on the ground like Linlang does. And because of the only information that I have found so far, which both mentions the ocean in general and fish, such as the starless satin shark, typical to this nation. This makes me think that differently from previous games, the Empire of Light will be hot or maybe even tropical. So they may choose to leave the snow and winter outfits to Linlang only. Also, although I have said otherwise in my previous video predicting outfits, I believe now that a mermaid ability outfit would make much more sense in the Empire of Light instead, since it seems to be surrounded by water or being coastal. To the east of Wishfield, we have the Starhail Federation, which is known for their commerce, trade, and business contracts. Similar to the Apple Federation in previous games, we can expect casual and contemporary styles, and some cyberpunk too if we consider the unseen entity outfit descriptions. Also, this hairband references a famous starry roads and cinema, which makes me think that Starhail will have a Hollywood-ish kind of aesthetic, probably with tall buildings and large roads. The Terra Alliance, contrary to Starhail, is described to be too wild. Sadly, we have little to no information about the Terra Alliance currently, so I can only guess based on this image, which we can expect a desert and West Asian clothing. In previous games, there was a nation called the Wasteland, which was a weird mix of Native American, North African, and Indian clothing that didn't really feel very well designed or loved by the devs. Me as a Native American myself personally hope that they improve this one so we don't have a Natlan situation all over again. Now, for Twinmoon Kingdom, it is described as the fairy realm, where they value knowledge and nature. We already have a character from Twinmoon, Timis. In previous games, this was called the Pigeon Kingdom, and although it's described as an elves, fairies, and dwarves place, the design seems to lean more into the angelic and demonic rather than the stereotypical forest medieval elf. It is also said in the game that Twinmoon has a strong medical technology and incredible curing potions, which makes me think of a holy water of sorts. But I may be wrong on this one because we don't have enough information right now. Then we have the Whale Port that floats around the Whale Space Station. This is the nation we have the least information on, and we have no outfit sets whatsoever, but it should be similar to the Ruins Island in previous Nikki games, so here is a little bit of what the ruins used to look like. I also think we'll get regions from the whale port and the whale station as well, because keep in mind they are two different locations. Last but not least, at the end of the first chapter, Dada tells us two little details. First is that we have 7 nations and several smaller ones, which is probably what Umbrazo is. Second, that after the War of Heavens, the 8 had suddenly appeared. For context, the 8 were the first stylists who found Weem and created the ability outfits. This group was led by Dexter, who ended up sacrificing herself to stop the dark forces. But what's interesting about the 8 that I wanted to mention here is that each one of them represents a nation. From left to right, we can see Terra, Starhail, Empire of Lights, Whaleport, Heartcraft, Linlang, Twinmoon, and Dragon. Yes, you may not have think too much about it back then, but one of the 8 is in fact a dragon. Probably Cadence-born, but this could mean a possible hidden dragon smaller nation in similar fashion to how Kenria or Celestian could be a nation in Genshin Impact if they wanted to. Imagine flying mechanics, dragon riding ability, dragon tamer outfits, or even an ability to become giant, almost dragon-sized. Overall, this last secret nation is mostly a fantasy of mine rather than assumption, but we can dream. And on that, we conclude all of the nations we are getting in Infinity Nikki and what they are probably going to look like. Do you have any hopes of specific areas and themes that you would like to see in the game? Please let me know in the comments because I genuinely just love reading through your ideas so much, and I would truly love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little. Listen.